Hello guys, welcome to another Flying Dutchman modeling video. This time I'm going to do a double review. I've got here two kits from Mirage Hobby. Both are scale 135. I've got a little nice armored car model 1934. You can build the Polish and the German version of it. Both kits are cheap. I've got them as a bargain. The only thing is, I know I have to use a lot of putty and plastic art to build them, but I think these kits are really nice and a bit rare to get. So the other one is a Vickers Armstrong 6-ton tank. You can build the Bulgarian, the Finnish and the English version of it. I am going to build the English version. There was a training tank in 1934, I believe, also. So let's begin with this one, the small armored vehicle. I have already opened the box, for I was curious. So we'll begin with the instruction manual. It's a really small manual. It has some specifications on it and a little bit history. The length of this car was 3.62 meters, so it's a little car. But if you can see here, it has a maximum speed of 50 kilometers per hour. So that was pretty fast for a car from 1934 or 1931, I believe. This instruction manual has 9 steps in total, over 3 pages. It's not too difficult to put this one together. The only thing is, I know it's low on detail, but I think you can make a really nice model of this one. Then we have the decal sheet. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so it's a bit more visible for you guys. The decal sheet, it has the markings as used on the vehicles, and it has some bonus markings that you can choose from it to use it or not. The decals aren't too bad at all. They are really nice and they are not too big, so no shiny edges on them. Next we have a little card. It says signal flags, so-called Stupski shields. I hope I pronounced it right. It was used on Polish tanks and armored cars until 1939. So you can cut them out and attach a little piece of wire on it and attach them on the turret of the tank. But I have to do some research on it, which one they would use. Next we have the painting scheme, or the camo scheme. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. Here we have a camo scheme as used in 1936. And here we have the Panzer Grey as used in 1939. And I really love this one. I think this is a pretty awesome camo scheme. I think it's hard to do, but I like a challenge, so I am going to do this camo scheme. It was used in 1931, so that's a long time ago. And here you can see the signal marks on the front of the tank and on the rear of the tank. So that's pretty awesome. I'm liking this kit already. Sprue number 1. As you can see here, the road wheels, they have a lot of flash on them, but nothing too serious. I cannot sand away. It's not too high on details. So that's sprue number 1. Sprue number 2. These are the fenders of the car, and they have in every fender a little dent in them. Here you see the bottom of the car. The bottom of the car is actually detailed. It looks like a wooden floor, like these old cars would have. So that's nice. Here we have a small radiator and some latches and hatches and whatever. The only thing is I've got here some pin marks at the inside of the fenders, so I have to cut that off, but that's not too big of a problem. Now we have here the body of the car. It's nicely molded. We got here the radiator of the, how do you call this? It's for the heat of the engine to come out, and it's actually drilled open, so that's pretty awesome. We have here a small turret, and this turret has a lot of rivets on it, so that's nice. The tools of this vehicle, yeah, it's not too high on detail, but it's not important. I think I can rework that. The only thing I really hate is this is supposed to be a machine gun. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you guys. Now please tell me, please tell me that this is a machine gun. This piece and this piece. It's supposed to be a machine gun. Maybe I can make it look like a machine gun, but I don't think I can. For me it's just a blob of styrene. So I'm thinking of replacing this with an aftermarket machine gun, or maybe in my scrap box I can make something out of it. And you see the other side of the supposed to be a machine gun. But I'm not complaining, for this was a very cheap kit, so. And here we are already at the last sprue. And here you see another machine gun. I think this is for another version, so maybe I will use this one instead. It's also low on detail, but I don't mind. I can make it look nice, I think. Last but not least, we got here a bag of tires. I've already opened it to let you show you one of the tires. Now, I kind of like this tire, for it has cool details, and the most tires, the rubber tires, for example Tamiya, they had some pin marks on top of the tire, so you have to sand that away with a risk of flat tires. Now this has only got at the inside something you have to cut away, but this detail for such an old kit, it's good enough for me. So that's kit number 1. I'm thinking I'm going to enjoy this this kit. I hope. But I will do a build thread on this kit also. So that's number one, the little armed car. Now on to the next one, the Vickers Armstrong, the 6 ton. I really wanted to have this one, for it's one of the first tanks that's supposed to be in World War II. So let's see how it looks. Again, we begin with the painting scheme. It's not much, no camouflage or whatsoever. It's just panzer grey, and that was used in the Bulgarian army in 1938. And here we have, I think, olive green, and that is used for the British Army Training Unit in 1939. And also this scheme is for the Finnish version until 1940. And I'm going to do the British Army Training Unit like this one. So that's the painting scheme. Now the biggest problem on this kit, I already looked for it, is the turret. So I'm going to zoom in again to let you show you how the turret looks like. Now, can you tell me what's missing on this turret? I can. The only place there are rivets on this turret is on the top. There are no rivets on the side of the turret at all. And also there is only one panel line on this turret. So I am missing two other panel lines like the real one. I already did some research on it and they are just missing. Now the panel lines are not the biggest problem, so I can rescribe them. But the rivets is a whole other story. Now I'm thinking of investing in a punch and die set to make my own rivets, but I'm getting that punch and die set for my birthday. That's in September. I'm getting it for my wife, so this kit has to wait until September. So I can make my own rivets. Now if you can see here, there are supposed to be some visors. They are just molded shut, so I have to open them. The other problem are the exhaust. The exhaust is from 2 pieces. So that's not too big a problem, but when I make it like one piece, I have to drill them open. Now if you drill 2 pieces open, it will split. So I've decided already to take this little piece off and to replace it with some, how do you call that, tubing. So to make it more like the real thing. And this is also pretty bad. These are the main guns as used on the tank turret. Also very low on detail and closed. Now I can either drill it open or invest in some copper tubing also and just replace this barrel for a tubing one. I think that would be nicer. Right, next sprue. As you can see here, this is the bottom of the tank and you have the 2 sides of the tank. It's a pity they did not make one piece of the entire hull. But nothing a little bit of putty cannot solve, so who's complaining? These sides of the tank does have rivets. Also the underside of the tank also have rivets. The only thing is there are some dents in the plastic, but this is the bottom of the tank, so that's not a problem at all. We have here also an exhaust, also out of two pieces, so I have to drill it open or cut it off and make my own exhaust. Here we have the suspension. The suspension actually have some kind of rough material, so that's pretty nice. The inside is just loaded with pin marks, but this tank is going to be closed all over, so that won't be visible at all. So that's a plus. Now I've got here two of the same sprues, and they are all road wheels. I think there is some flash on it, but nothing too serious. So I can just send that away, so that's not a problem at all. So these are the road wheels. I hate doing road wheels. Anyway. And again we have here an exhaust. How many exhausts does this little tank has? 3 already? 3 exhausts, that's a lot. Anyway, this is the back side of the tank, and it has here a grill, or how do you call it? It's a shame they had closed the grill, so it's not molded open. I'm thinking of just cutting this piece out and replace it with some plastic card, so to make it open again. What do you have more? Some other panels. There are no raised panel lines, so that is a plus. And all the pin marks are at the inside of the vehicle, so they will not be visible. So that's also nice. And here we have the front of the tank, also a grill. Again, I'm going to cut it open and replace this with some plastic card. And here you can see a little piece that's supposed to be mesh in it. I'm going to cut that out also and replace it with some scrap mesh. I've got it in my scrap box, so I'm going to replace that. As you can see, these are the road wheels. The sprockets. The sprockets do have flash, but nothing too serious. I can easily send that away. I've got here some fenders. Okay, the fenders does have numbers on it and inject marking pins, so I have to fill it up, sand it and cut this out. Nothing too serious. Now here we have the tracks. I'm just going to turn over this box so you can see the tracks a little bit more. They are rubber tracks, and they are pretty sturdy, or how do you call it? I have never seen a rubber towing cable before, but there is actually a rubber towing cable on here. So the other side of these tracks are pretty cool. They are nicely molded, and there is no flash at all on them. So I have to say, these are pretty good tracks. Now, as for the instruction manual, this instruction manual is completely in Polish. So the other one was in Polish and in English, and this one is completely in Polish. Well, doesn't matter. I can always ask Ratsi for advice if I cannot translate something. So here you see the instruction manuals. It's a small manual. Here you can see the turret, and that's the funny thing of it. If you see the turret on the manual, it does have the rivets. So it really makes me wonder why they didn't mold the rivets on the side of the turret. It's a pretty straightforward build, as you can see here. So I'm wondering how this build will go. And the final thing I have is over here, and these are the decals, and they actually have the swastika, so I can use that, but I believe on this model the swastika was used for the Finnish the Finnish version, so I'm not going to use them. These ones, the number 11, were used for the Bulgarian. So all that's left are these two little markings for the British version. Anyway, this was so far these kit reviews of both of the models. So just going to put it back into the box. So here you have it, guys. This was my double review on two kits from Mirage Hobby. One was the Vickers Armstrong and the other one was a small armored car. I hope you have enjoyed this little review. You can always ask me something if I was not clear on something about it, so I can show it to you again. Okay, well, this is so far my review, and I hope to see you again. Cheers, guys. Bye bye.